What is up, gamers? Big Bob Jim here. Should I say Sheriff Big Bob Jim? Because today I have something very special planned for you. Unlike any of my other videos, as you know, I'm typically a gaming channel. However, in this video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Alright? So as you can see, I'm in real life for once. I'm touching some grass. Well, I'm not actually touching grass. I'm sitting here in my room. It's certainly not that bright outside. I did touch some grass earlier though, so you can be proud of me for that. However, today, now I should say guys, I hope you've had a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening or night, and I hope it's been productive and you've been gathering some evidence and number crunching, because today I've got a little unboxing for you. Whoa, what's that? It's Murder of a Marine Biologist. It's almost like that's the title of the video. Now, this is a Cryptic Killers pack, as you can see here, if I can get the lighting right. Now, what these guys do, I think it's actually maybe just one man who makes it. I'm not too sure, but that's what I read after I did my last one. Because I've done one of these before, which I'll put on screen now. It was, I think, Murder at Magic Minnow Casino, I'm pretty sure. And it was this magician that died, and I won't spoil anything. He died! Yeah. However, I bought this one because I wanted to try one for you guys today. And I think this could be a pretty fun one, if I can get the words out. It says it's a little bit harder, difficulty rating slightly higher. However, the last one was, it was a fairly good challenge. I mean, it wasn't too tricky at all, so I think this one should be good for you guys to watch. Without further ado, let's slice it open. Which angle did that this from? Alright. See what we're cooking with in here. Get out of here! It's an £80 fine. Littering, it's terrible. Don't litter, guys. So, let me read you the little blurb at the back. So it says, Trudy... what is that? Trudy Erhardt? Trudy Erhardt, I think so. A marine biologist in Brisbane, Australia, has been found dead with a bullet wound to her head. I'm going to stop that now. Her colleague Dave Herman was also found in the ocean a few weeks prior. Trudy's brother Ben has been arrested and is a prime suspect in this case. The evidence has been collected for you, for me. It's your job, my job, to work out if Ben is actually the killer or if someone else committed this murder. So we think Ben's been framed. The documents in this folder, in addition to the evidence found, also require access into their computer, uncover further information associated with this case. The mission is simple. So, guys, our mission in this is to eliminate as many of the suspects as possible so that we can find the killer or killers, could be killers, and bring them to justice. Now, as you can see here, there's lots of different options for these packs that you can get. Now, you might have seen some of these in shops. I'm a big murder mystery fan, so let's call my immediately. I got my first one for my birthday. In fact, my favourite book of all time is actually The Orient Express. It's not. It's actually Redfish Bluefish by Dr. Seuss. Anyway. Ooh! So something is different from the last. Oh, I don't like the feeling of the paper. Tingles. Something is actually different from the last case. So the last one, all the documents were in the one just little sealed folder here. However, ooh, I don't know which way around that day for you guys, but 2 parts. Guys, I think there may be 2 murders in one. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, should we get cracking and on part 1 here? Part 2. Yeah. £80 fine. Alright, so you can see on the back we've got a little list of all the evidence, all the documents and things contained. So that's just a little checklist to make sure you've got everything, which I'm going to do right now. It's sort of like, you know, when you get a Lego set, you've got to check all the Lego bricks are there. Okay guys, it seems all the evidence is here, so I'm just going to have a quick read through the memo and the instructions, and I'll be with you in just a second. God, I love this city. Okay guys, so I've had a check through it and everything seems to be in order, ship shape, so I'm gonna move on to cam 2 now. Right guys, so that was a little bit stressful trying to prop that camera, but I think I should have it set now. So I've had a read through the memo and everything, done a lovely little highlight number, as you can see here, and there's a few things I noticed. So first of all, what I'll do, you can get these documents online if you buy the pack, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on screen as I'm talking about them. So there's a few things that I noticed. First of all, there was a detective called Barry Wolf who apprehended Benjamin, Miss Erhardt's brother. What's her name again? Trudy? Am I making that up? Is it not Trudy? It is Trudy, okay. Namely because he had been imprisoned years before. He's got into some bother before. It doesn't say what kind of bother he was in. I'm assuming we're going to find that out when we read some of the other documents. It's saying that Benjamin has pleaded innocent and he's claiming to be with, what was it he said? He said he was with Neptune on the night of the murder. It doesn't say who Neptune is, so we're probably going to have to find that as well. I don't imagine he was actually on the planet Neptune, unless this guy's secretly an astronaut. And this murder is not based on real events. I'll be the judge of that, guys. Let's read on. So we've got a letter here. This isn't the first piece of evidence, but I'm going to read this first. What I've done is I've shuffled all the rest of the evidence just to make it a little more fun, so I'm not doing it in the order it's supposed to be done in, it's more random. So this is for Trudy Erhardt, which I totally, oh god, what? What the hell? Let me put up the image now. What? Let me move that. What is this? It's some guy. Is that a body? Oh. Okay, right. Someone's tied up. Is somebody? There's two men. One of them's been hog-tied. They've got a bag over their head, and the other one's like trimming their feet, getting rid of the dead skin, or like trimming their toenails or something. Oh. Last time I'm ever a detective. Last time I take on a case for Barry Wolf. Minging. Right. One piece of evidence down. I don't know what that means quite yet. But we're going to read on. So this is, I believe, a letter from Ben to his lawyer. Right, so it's we have intercepted this letter written by Ben in his police cell. So he wrote this in his police cell to his lawyer, Brisbane Police. Is that his name? Is the lawyer's name Brisbane Police? Because if so, that's a terrible name. That is like the worst lawyer name. Hello, I write to you in much distress. I have been imprisoned of a crime I did not commit. Maybe I should start from the beginning. My sister, Dr. Gertrude Erhardt. What a name. Trudy to her friends. Well, to everyone except important documents, really. Lecturer in Marine Biology at the University of Brisbane. So she died in the university as well, in her office. Something else I read said that a security guard found her. She's one of the leading experts in the country on jellyfish. She's written several books and articles on the subject, but the police arrested me for the crime. I swear, I'm innocent. That just makes you sound more guilty, mate. I loved my sister. I wouldn't ever dream of killing anybody, full stop. Full stop, exclamation mark. They only think it's me because I've been in trouble with the law in the past. I'll admit I've been naughty before, but nothing like this. Yeah, this isn't calling your stalking, mate. This is another level. Please consider this my formal request for you to defend me. I remember reading in the paper a big news event about how you won a case and it got the guy off the hook. So trust you'll be able to do the same for me. There's a person who can provide my alibi. Now, small details like that, like the food not sitting well with him not enjoying the meal that they've provided him. It's little details like that that are going to come into play later. So I think already I'm thinking, is there a connection between him and Ben not Ben Wolf, just Barry Wolf. The officer who got food poisoning? Maybe. There's a person who can provide my alibi. The only problem is I don't know the real name. If you can find Neptune, you'll be able to prove I wasn't at the crime scene where my sister was shot. You have the braininess to prove my innocence. I tracked my location using a GPS locator that saved my coordinates, okay? Web address is www.gpswiz.com and my username is Ben Erhardt. Or Ben Erhardt. Before you ask, I've already given you the password. Let me do a bit of highlighting. Alright guys, so I've had an idea of what this password could possibly be. So there's a few words that are underlined, such as naughty news event, freedom 8, braininess before. And it's got to be something to do with them. Maybe it's the first letter of each word. Let me actually see. N-N-E. Okay, I'm not too sure, but we're not going to look at the web address just yet. I'm going to do that in a bit, because that will require me to look at my phone. So, let's have a read of ANN News. Controversial jellyfish clinics face closure after changes to the law. Okay, need a big swig for this one. Penelope Mudd's one of the jellyfish cures. Okay. Alternative health clinics that offer jellyfish cures will have to close after changes to legislation made their curing methods illegal. The clinics faced much controversy in recent days after their cures involving jellyfish venom were brought to light. Health experts have dubbed the methods quackery and pseudoscience and have been campaigning to tighten legal loopholes that allowed the clinics to operate. Today, the proposal to legalise medical procedures involving jellyfish was voted into law. Trudy Erhardt, who campaigned for the change in the law, said, "Today, I'm glad to see the government making the right decision. These clinics were taking advantage of vulnerable people, putting profit ahead of the lives and safety of their customers, and they had to be stopped. These so-called cures were doing more harm than good. So it's excellent to see that these practices have been legalised to prevent further injury and death to innocent Australians." Innocent Australians. I didn't know they existed. Oh, I'm so sorry if you're watching this from Australia. I'm joking. I love Australia. I heard you have lots of good barbecues, so. Okay, so what can we gather from that? As you can see underneath the image there, it says Penelope Mudds was one of her jellyfish. Or with one. Penelope Mudds was not one of the jellyfish herself. She was with one of her jellyfish cures. I'm glad we've got that out of the bag. So not in the last case I did, what it did was it gave me a list of suspects. This one, it hasn't done that. So every time we hear a name, what we're going to do is I'm going to write that down. And we're going to take that into consideration for a potential suspect. So already we've got Penelope Mudds here. And that seems like a pretty good lead because she's already got the motive of, you know, Trudy Erhardt is one of the people that have got her research illegalised. So, okay, Penelope Mudds is down, so we've got a first suspect there. So, right, so I was taking a short break from filming, just reading through several of the documents. I've got a few here that I read through and highlighted, and I think I know who Neptune is. I think I figured it out, and I'm only like 4 documents in. Remember when I said she has a very good motive, this lady here, Penelope Mudds? She's got a good motive because Trudy Erhardt made a public comment criticising her work. So immediately, dodgy, yeah? Now I was reading through it, let me find it. There was a note found in Ben's apartment to himself just saying, essentially, Trudy was originally going to meet with Neptune, but Ben went and said because she was busy. And this was the night of her murder as well, so I think something's went down. My theory already is that Neptune was trying to kill Trudy. I keep saying Trudy, but I prefer Gertrude. Let's say Gertrude from now on out. Trying to kill Gertrude, but she was busy, so Ben gets sent and said, he said nothing too interesting happened. And the important thing to note here is his descriptions of this mysterious figure. So their face was clouded and Neptune did not tell Ben her name, her real name. However, she did say that her name was mightier than the sword, and it was something close. Apparently something like that. Anyway, her top as well had a logo with corals and bubbles, like a little vestigial symbol with the word staff underneath. So from that, I'm sorry guys, I need to stop being so hyped, but she's modern mysteries really excite me, if you could already tell. Anyway, mightier than the sword. Now there's something very important to know about that. Is anyone familiar with the phrase, the pen is mightier than the sword? Well, if you're not, that's fine. Penelope, as in pen, is mightier than the sword. It's so clever. Like, once I got that, it clicked. I was like, oh, wait a minute. And, it makes sense with the corals and the bubbles and staff and everything. That makes sense. The other documents I read, well, they didn't say too much. She just said Gertrude was sat down and the person was shot was likely standing up. And there's a little diagram here of her room. And there was a note found on her that said Ben. Barry Wolf was the one who wrote this report. I'm assuming he has some sort of vendetta against Ben. Either he's planning down all there, or the killer's planning down all there to, lead Ben to his vision, which is my original thoughts. Anyway, I'm gonna carry on reading. Gonna listen to some cool detective jazz, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Bosh! Did you guys know that giant anteaters have tongues that are 2 feet long? Bet you didn't know that. Did you also know that otters have a little pouch they use to hold their favourite rocks? I already knew that, but this little segment in one of the newspaper clippings is very interesting, very educating anyway. So I found lots more clues here, some of which being in these newspapers. There's a couple of them. This is a cartoonist that died. He's seemingly unrelated to the crime so far. But there was a couple interesting things in this one, which mentioned a species, a sort of subspecies of squirrelfish, and some people tried to break into an aquarium to steal them, the Brisbane aquarium, and apparently they already knew the password, so that's very interesting information. There's a story in here as well that a guy dying to that same squirrelfish, and mentioning swimmers and things and how it can their sting is completely venomous and it can be fatal. What I think I've deduced from that, some of my findings are very far-fetched about these and stuff, but I think this image here with the, this sort of kidnapping, where he seems to be trimming the guy's nails or something, what I think's going on there is possibly someone has acquired that squirrelfish at some other time and is using it to either kill or torture this man, both of which aren't, a bit grim, but it's probably the latter. Got a couple more suspects on my potential rascals hit list, one of which was a guy. Basically, Gertrude just made a big post of him online, said, you can't construct a building here because there's this endangered species of, oh yeah, here it is, I'll put it up now, tiger striped jellyfish. I feel like a proper detective, sitting my late night, cup of Joe. It's actually water, but even more refreshing than a cup of Joe. Only other thing, really, that I find is this entirely strange thread of online posts. One of them was from somebody called Trixie Blank, who's another potential suspect, and she said in a post, anyone know what the best way to kill a marine biologist is? Asking for a friend. It's not putting her in good stead, isn't it? Gets better. Any new Brisbane University students unfortunate enough to get Trudy Erhardt, my condolences. She better sleep with one eye open. Seriously. I mean it. And that's a direct quote from Trixie Blank herself. So she's not looking too hot. However, yeah. What I think I'm planning on doing right now is having a look at Ben Erhardt's letter to his lawyer, where he mentions a password. Now, I think I figured out what the password is. So there's a bunch of I'm not sure if I mentioned this previously, but there's a bunch of underlined words on here. We need this password to get into like an online document thing, which I'm going to show you guys, obviously, showing us coordinates using a GPS tracker, which should like prove his innocence essentially. And because you've got a bunch of different clues and they're all sort of jumbled, and like I don't even know if I'm supposed to find the suspect yet, I'm going to have a look at that, and hopefully that should point me in the right direction, you know, so it seems. However, some of these words are actually homophones, which are like words where when you say them out loud it sounds like something else. So like words, for instance, 2, 8, what's the other one? 1 as well. 2, 8, 1. That's what I've got so far, so I'm thinking that could possibly be the password. There's also one that says before. I don't know if that's like before 4, so 3, or if it's 4. I don't know. I'm going to try and crack this code. However, I need to have my dinner first, so I'll catch you guys once I finish that, and hopefully we can get this case wrapped up. Peace. Hello, I'm back. I've just had my tea. It's very lovely, thank you for asking. I had some pasta and garlic bread. Anyways, you say a detective does his best work in a full stomach, so full belly. So yeah, I'm at the stage now where I'm about to look on this Ben's letter for GPS location, and I've had a look as well on the website, like what it wants me to actually find if I need to find out who the killer is yet, and I don't. So all I need to do is find out who Neptune is, which I think I've already done. I think it's Penelope Mudd, and just a thing on that. So I'm gonna set up a camera and go into that web address and try and source out some information. But first, I've actually had an idea. So wait, hold on, wait there. So I found a little cosmetic for me while I try and solve the remainder of the case. Oh god, thank god this is in black and white and you can't see what colour it is. Alright guys, let's see how it looks on. Oh, dearie me. I think it suits me actually quite nice. I'm like Magnum PI. It's the fact I've already got a moustache, I'm just doubling up now. Right, let's have a look at that web address. Gubbish. Right guys, I'm back. There was some creepy message that popped up when I was trying to put the email in, so I think it's got in now, hopefully. Right, let's see what we're cooking with here. Brisbane University Security After Hours. As requested, please find the entry records for everyone who visited the university buildings after hours. Keith, security. So head to security. Don't mess with Keith. This was the night that she died, but before she died. As I'm sure you're aware, your colleagues found a scratch access card on the floor during their investigations. Unfortunately, it was in such a bad state that the barcode wasn't readable by the scanning system, so I was unable to confirm who it belonged to. They took it as evidence anyway. I should have told the investigators that students are still able to gain access by manually typing their student number into the access key. Right, hold on, I need to read this again. And then we've got some after hours records. Okay guys, I've had a look at some of the pieces of evidence on this web address. I'm pretty sure this is for the second part of the investigation. I don't think this really concerns us right now, so I'm going to move back to the other password thingamabob. Okay, so I'm back in here, and I still just don't know what the password is. Let me have a look at this piece of paper. The coordinates web address is GPS. You've already given me the password. I don't know what the password is. Oh! Oh, good lord. Oh, that took way too long. Oh my days. I was on the right track, right, with the homophones and stuff. It was all to do with this letter. But it's so stupid. It's because, right, the word news event, apparently there's a number hidden in that. I was looking at the first letters of the you know, the words, how many letters are in the words. What it is, see if you spell out news event. News 7. It's 7. Braininess is 9 because the word 9's in it. It's the only reason I didn't get that one was because some of the words are like freedom. Freedom doesn't have the word 3 in it. And you know, I just had to deduce the fact that it was 3 because it sounds like 3. Anyway. Right, hi Ben, congratulations on tracking your first journey with GPS was... Oh, was that a picture of Ben there? Ugly mug, isn't he? You know you have the ability to log every movement as you roam the earth. Smashing. Your privacy is important to us, so we will only track you when you press the red button on your device. Pressing the red button a second time will deactivate the tracker. Please remember, keep your account details safe and never hand out your membership number to anyone. Yeah, that's went well, Ben. That's went well. Big round of applause for Ben. Can we have a round of applause for Ben? Track journeys went up 100% with a singular track journey. Right, so we've got Penelope Muds is her name and the event number should be 6. Let's see if we're right, guys. What? Bosh. Okay, so I was wondering why every time I tried to put in, you know, Penelope's real full name, because that's what it says, it wasn't working. And I had a read through some of the old documents, and one of the newspapers actually has Penelope's middle name. Well, it doesn't have her middle name, but it has her initial for middle name, and it's Q. So I think that's that should hopefully be the last step that I needed. So let me just try Penelope Q Muds number 6, because that's where the cafe is. That should be the event, and here we go. Excuse me. Ute Pen. It wasn't Penelope. I was in the right track with it supposedly sounding the same, and with it, you know, pen is mightier than the sword. I was on the right track. I got that, but it wasn't Penelope at all. It was someone else. And plus, I had just assumed that whatever clinic she worked at was at this Brisbane aquarium, which apparently, you know, Neptune is from. And it all comes down to this. Let's see if I can find it. Logo right here, because it said that was a logo and it said it had staff underneath. So there's another person which I've found who also has Pen in their name and is even closer to the word Neptune. There's someone called Ute Pen who works at the Brisbane Aquarium, and that's been confirmed here as an Australian tourist dies from venom overdose. I've had a read through, and what I've deduced is that I think Ute Pen has tried to steal some fish. My theory so far, I could be wrong, but I think Ute Pen is the person behind this image, the evil man. And I think that all the dots line up. However, for now, let's just put in Ute Pen's full name, unless they've got a middle name, of course, which I have no idea. Event 6. Good work, Marine Part 1 is complete. Alright, yes. Well done, team. Fantastic work. Ben's GPS tracker and Ute Pen both give Ben a very strong alibi. I've saved this man. I've saved his life. We must find the person or people who are responsible for the death of Trudy Erhardt. While you've been working on this case, we've managed to collect more information on other suspects. I've supplied it to you in an envelope marked Part 2. That was pretty fast, actually. Chief Superintendent Garrison. Well in, mate. If the fuzz are good for one thing, it's gathering lots of evidence very, very quickly. Thank you, Chief Superintendent Garrison. Alright guys, this has been a very long night and I am ready to hit the sack. So thank you so much for watching. We've saved Ben. We've saved him from false imprisonment. God bless the judicial system. However, if you'd like to see me do part 2 of this game, and I was originally planning on doing both parts in this same video. However, I didn't realise that it was separated like this because the last Cryptic Killers puzzle I did was not. So I just assumed it'd be the same. However, if you'd like to see me do part 2, I just assumed that since I did the last one and that was just in one part, that they would both be the same. So it was unfortunately too long for one consecutive video. However, if you'd like me to continue this series in another part, if this video gains enough traction, so hit that like button, smash that, in fact, beat that subscribe button to a pulp. And if not, that's completely fine, because I'll be more than happy to continue this series on my own. I think my ego needs it after the whole password fiasco, and ring that notification bell. Then I will be happy to make a part 2 video for you guys. However, that's going to be it for this video on its own, so I'll catch you guys in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. This is Sheriff Big Bob Jim, signing out.
Part 2. Yeah, forgot to mention as well, guys, I've left a link down in the description if you'd like to purchase one of these packs yourself from Cryptic Killers. I'm going to leave a link to the Amazon. You can buy this specific case, or I'll leave a link to the shop where you can buy it anyone you fancy. So I'm throwing the world to you, and you can just run with it. Enjoy, guys. Anyway, this has been Big Bob Jim, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye. I'll catch you. I will. I'm a detective now. I will.